Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar aimed at helping you to discover Wise Business and how it could help your business save time and money on FX, invoicing, expenses, and everything in between. I'm Hannah McGrath. I'm a business editor here at Wise, and we're just going to give everybody a couple of minutes to log in, and then we'll get started on the content. So if you could bear with us for 1 to 2 minutes, just while we wait for people to log in and get set up on the call, and then we will kick off in 1 to 2 minutes. Thanks so much for your patience. For those of you just joining us, thank you so much for joining us for this Discover Wise Business webinar. I'm Hannah. We'll be kicking off in about 1 minute's time, just giving as many people as possible the opportunity to log in before we dive into the content. So thanks very much for joining us today. If you've just joined us, I am not frozen. I am just giving people an opportunity to log in before we dive into the content. So thanks very much for everyone who has been here for the last minute or so. Okay, I think we'll get started. Thank you very much for your patience. As I mentioned, I'm Hannah. I'm a business editor here at Wise, and I'm based in our London office, if you can't tell from my accent. And I'll be co-hosting today with my colleague Usman, who's joining us from our office in Tallinn. So it's 6 p.m. in London, and it's much later in Tallinn. It's 2 hours ahead in Tallinn. So thanks so much, Usman, for joining us this evening, but also this afternoon for everyone who's based in the US. So Usman is part of our expert account management team, and he'll be taking us on a bit of a tour of the Wise Business account and answering your questions in our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. But before we dive into our content for today, a bit of housekeeping. So today we'll be exploring how Wise Business works for companies of all sizes based in the US. If you're not based in the US, please be aware that the product is likely to work a little bit differently from the product we're walking through today, and it'll have different pricing eligibility criteria, and potentially some regional differences as well per state. If you'd like to find out if the Wise Business account is available in the region you're based in, please visit wise.com/business. Also, if you have any questions for us, we'll be running a live Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So as we go through the presentations, please add any questions for me or for Usman into the Q&A box, and we'll pick them up at the end. We'll also be sending out a recording of the webinar, a couple of FAQs and one pages for you in the next week or so, and you can share these with your team. And we'll also be sharing some links as well, which my colleague Kate will be sharing in the chat. So before we get started on our introduction to Wise, I'm interested to learn a bit more about you guys. So I've launched a poll that you can hopefully see on your screens now, and I'd be very grateful if you could click the option that best applies to you, and then we'll take a quick look at the results together. So the options are which provider do you currently use for your business banking needs? It's always obviously very interesting for us to learn this at Wise, but also the results can be really insightful. So traditional bank, are you using another fintech company for your FX and your international business banking needs? Are you using PayPal Business? Are you already using Wise and want to learn a bit more about how your account works? Or are you just exploring your options at the moment? If you could vote by clicking the option that best applies to you, I'd be very grateful. And we will take a look at the results now. Okay. Oh, interesting. This is very different for the US market. So 73% of you are using a traditional bank, which is really, really quite high, given the results we normally get when we run these webinars elsewhere in the world. No one is using another fintech company. No one is using PayPal. Someone is already using Wise, so thanks very much for that. Excited to have you here on the call. And then a few of you are just exploring your options, but really interested to see that a lot of you are using traditional banks to send and receive money to and from overseas. And we'll learn a bit more about why that could be costing you a lot of time and a lot more money in this presentation. So, um, let's get straight into the content for today. I'd just like to take a moment to introduce Wise to those of you who maybe aren't familiar with us, and the problems we are solving for 16 million people and businesses around the world. So, Wise was founded as TransferWise in 2011 in London, with a mission to make sending, spending, and managing international money fast, affordable, and transparent. Our co-founders started Wise to solve a broken system of international payments, which makes sending and receiving money with banks and traditional providers slow, confusing, and often unfairly expensive. If you're carrying out any kind of international transaction or business today, or business payment today, you'll probably be familiar with these pain points. These days, if you're using a bank or maybe an FX broker or a traditional provider, your cross-border payments are likely slow, expensive, and full of hidden fees. We talk a lot about hidden fees at Wise. These are FX markups and the margins that banks tend to wrap into your quoted exchange rate. And you're probably also waiting days for money to arrive, and this can strain vital relationships with your suppliers, customers, and team members as well. And all of those hidden fees can really cut into your profit margins. So that's what we were founded to solve, both for consumers and for businesses. And so what problems do we solve? Well, first and foremost, we are fast. At the moment, 74% of payments sent with Wise arrive within 20 seconds. So they arrive instantly with your payee. And that's been ticking up every single year. So we are very proud of the fact that 74% of payments are instant, and our fees are cheap, and they're also getting cheaper. So part of Wise's mission as a business is that we are heading for mission zero. What we ultimately want is to be able to offer cross-border payments as cheaply as domestic payments, and often that means free. So last quarter, we dropped our average and send fees across all currency corridors down to 0.53% or basis points of the total transaction. And those are our lowest fees in 5 years. So we're definitely delivering on that mission to drive down the cost of international payments. Secondly, we solve for the fact that international bank accounts don't really exist unless you physically walk into a branch in the country of the currency you need, and you fill in reams of paperwork and lots of sort of onboarding and verification. It's very difficult to pay and get paid in multiple currencies, all from within one account, or from an app, without having to step foot in the country or have a registered business address in the country. So that's something that we're really proud of solving for a lot of businesses worldwide. And as you'll see today, Wise does allow you to send payments in 40 plus currencies, and you can receive payments to local account details with US routing numbers or Euro IBANs or GB account details, as well as 6 other currencies. That's 9 currencies in total that you can set up local account details with. And you can also receive Swift payments internationally in 23 currencies. So your customers all around the world can pay you in 23 currencies, and we have very competitive rates as well on those. So you can effectively operate with a Wise Business account as a local business from day one, wherever you're operating in the world. So you could set up as a European entity, you could set up as a UK entity, Singapore entity, and that would save you, your customers or your investors, if you're fundraising, time and money, because they can pay you in the currency that works for them, and they can also eliminate costly exchange fees and interbank charges. It's worth mentioning as well that if you have a Wise account and your payer has a Wise account, or your payee has a Wise account, all transactions which are Wise to Wise using our system are completely free. So it's definitely worth incentivizing your investors or your customers or suppliers to open Wise accounts as well, because it will mean that you can eliminate fees for both of you. And lastly, the problem we solve for is the fact that the infrastructure for sending and receiving money internationally is chronically chronically outdated. So correspondent banking networks, which are used by banks to send money across the world, mean that many payments can take 2 to 5 days to complete and can cause really serious cash flow problems for you and your payees. So with Wise, as I'll cover, we have built an international payments network that enables local payouts in the currency that you need, often instantly, as we've heard, with money actually rarely needing to cross borders. And that's why we can make it really fast and really cost effective. And what really sets us apart is our fees and the way we structure them. Unlike banks and traditional providers, payments with Wise are completely transparent. So as I mentioned, you'll hear no hidden fees a lot with Wise. But what does that mean? It means we use the mid-market exchange rate, which is the rate that banks use to convert between each other and to send FX. And we use the mid-market rate to convert between currencies. And we also have an in-app calculator that shows you exactly what we're charging in fees, as well as how much your recipient will receive. And you can also track where your payments are and when they will arrive in real time. So you have complete visibility over how much your payment will cost end to end and when it will arrive. So there's no more guesswork involved in sending and receiving money overseas. It's all clearly displayed that there in your calculator, in your app, when you set up a payment. And you'll also know exactly how much you're being charged with fees. And as I mentioned, our average fees at the moment are at 0.53 basis points across all of our currency corridors. They obviously they change depending on the currency corridor that you're using, but on average it's 0.53 and it's extremely competitive, particularly compared to traditional banking providers, which, as we know, a lot of you are using. So how do we do all this? Well, our international payments network works really differently to the correspondent banking network. So when you add your money into your USD account in Wise, and you can do that by card, so card, credit card, debit card, bank transfer, or Apple Pay, you're actually paying USD into our local US account, so Wise's US account. And if you want to send, let's say, for example, GBP, pound sterling, for example, you'll convert to your GBP balance in your Wise account at the mid-market rate with low fees, and will then pay out GBP on your behalf from Wise's local GB account. So that money is essentially, not really crossing borders. There's a lot of magic that goes on in the background from our treasury teams, but you are essentially using our network of around 90 bank accounts and 70 global licenses with our global banking partners to send local payments with direct connections to, and we also have local faster payment rails connections in 6 countries, which is why your payments are really fast, cheap, and reliable. And so, yeah, that's a bit of how it works. The plumbing behind the scenes is that you're essentially using our international network of bank accounts to send your money. So let's look at some quick numbers to show that the impact that Wise is currently making. We have around 15.6 million active customers worldwide across consumer and business, and we help to move more than $47 billion across borders every quarter. So that's every quarter. Today, there's about $28 billion held in Wise accounts globally. And in 2024 alone, our customers saved around $2.7 billion in banking fees by using Wise instead of traditional banks and brokers. And behind all of this is a team of over 7,000 people from 125 nationalities. I'm very happy to be one of them. We now have offices in London, Brussels, New York, Austin, Texas, Brazil, Singapore, Tallinn in Estonia, Budapest in Hungary. And we've just opened a new and fast-growing one in Hyderabad in India. And we were also the first electronic money provider to get direct access to the UK's faster payment networks, which means that those GBP transactions can land instantly, so even under 20 seconds. So yeah, super fast payments, and we're working on building that out across the world as well. As I mentioned, we've got 6 direct connections with faster payments networks globally. And when it comes to businesses, we have over 700,000 active business customers and counting. Maybe you'll join the team after today. Our customers range from freelancers, sole traders, and micro businesses to SMBs and large enterprise customers who can connect with us via our API for payouts, and they can manage multi-currency treasury and multi-entity operations using Wise Business as well. Our business customers currently hold $9.2 billion in deposits with Wise, and that's growing all the time. In terms of growth, more than 20,000 new business customers join us every month, and our new business customers sent or spent a total of $4.3 billion in every month of last year. So we're a trusted, proven business account provider, and we're always adding new tools and features to the account so that you can consolidate your financial tech stack. So you can see here some of our Wise Business customers, as well as larger enterprise and banking partners. Some of these use Wise Platform, which is our third-party payments infrastructure, and they use it to power payments for their end customers. So interestingly, Bolt and Deal started off as Wise Business customers, just using us as a Wise Business account, and then as they scaled, they transitioned into using our payments infrastructure through API, and offering payments which are basically provided by Wise but white labeled to their own customers via their own apps, which is very exciting. And for support, we offer, if you have a problem with the account or you want to speak to an advisor, we offer a 24/7 customer support line in English, and you can contact us via email, phone, and in-app chat. And for customers who are sending large amounts, so that might be $250,000 or more a month, we have an account management team who you can actually speak to in app as well. So it's always good to have a named person when you're sending large amounts on a regular basis. If you'd like a bit more info, here's Wise in numbers on your screens now, and we'll be sending you a version of this in our follow-up comms next week as well, so you can share that with your team. So here's a quick look at what we'll cover with Usman today. We're able to offer everything your business needs to run everyday operations, from invoicing, accounting integrations, and the Wise multi-currency card for multi-user access. And we also have FX offerings for you and the team. Apologies there for the light going out. We have super efficient lighting in our offices, and occasionally that means that the lights go out and you have to move in order to reactivate them. So we've also recently introduced the interest feature in the US for US customers, and that's offered through JP Chase. This allows you to earn APY on your GBP, so your pound sterling holdings, USD holdings, and euro holdings. When you opt in, your USD, GBP, and euro balances are held with our program bank, where Wise earns interest. We use a small portion of the interest to cover our operating expenses, and then we pass along the rest to you. So the rates that are currently available are up to 3.14% APY on balances held in USD. So you can get 3.14% for your USD holdings, 2.21% on GBP, and 0.8 on euro holdings. And how it works is when you opt into the interest feature, you'll continue to have instant access to your funds, and you'll also get pass-through insurance, FDIC pass-through insurance, up to $250,000 across your balances through our program bank, which, as I mentioned at the moment, is JP Chase. So basically, we sweep your deposits. When you switch on the interest feature, we sweep your deposits into JP Chase. We earn interest on the holdings there, and we pass as much as we can back to you via interest. And the interest is paid out, is actually paid daily, but then it's collected monthly. So it will be paid out to you monthly, but it accrues daily. And at this time, it's worth pointing out that the interest feature is not available to residents of New York or Alaska, but we're working on it. And you can learn more about how the interest feature works and the rates we're offering if you go to wise.com/interest. And we'll also be sharing a link at the end of the call. And if you are an e-commerce business or you're selling anything online, that could be goods, that could be services, there are some really exciting new features on the way to help you get paid directly into your Wise Business account when your customers check out by using Wise as a payments gateway. So we're in the process of getting ready to roll out a plugin with WooCommerce. This means that if you've built your website on WordPress, you can easily drop our payment methods onto your checkout page, so your customers can pay using Visa, MasterCard, as well as Apple Pay and Google Pay. And in the next year, we'll also be expanding this to other platforms, including Shopify and Squarespace. So if you'd like to save on Stripe fees, processing fees, and allow your customers to pay in the currency that works for them and save on forced conversions, because we don't do that, you can sign up to our waitlist to be the first to know about the new launches. And my colleague Kate is going to drop the link in to sign up to the waitlist for us, and you will be the first to know when it goes live. And you might also be invited to join one of our pilot phases as well. So that's all very exciting. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Usman to give you a tour of our business product. And don't forget to drop any questions that you might have on what you've just heard or in Usman's presentation into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we'll pick them up in the session for Q&As later on. And with that, I will hand over to Usman.
Thank you so much, Hannah. I'm gonna quickly share my screen, then we can. Hannah, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Confirmed.
Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I'm Usman, currently working as an account executive at Wise. And for the past few years, I've had the opportunity to help businesses just like yours save money and scale globally with Wise. Today, I will provide you an overview of the key features we offer to support your US-based business. We'll be doing a live demo so you can see exactly how it all works. Please note that some features may vary depending on where your business is registered, but this will give you a clear idea of what's possible with your Wise account. So let's begin by addressing a common challenge for international businesses, which is getting paid efficiently. As Hannah mentioned, with Wise, you can get local account details in 9 currencies, including Canadian dollars, euros, British pounds, and US dollars as well. What does this mean in practice? So I'm gonna quickly go to British pound account details. So that's how your account details would look like. Right now, it's my test account name, but here you will be seeing your business account name. You will be getting a unique account number, sort code, there's IBAN, there's SWIFT to receive SWIFT payments, and these account details would work as local as, let's say, if you have an account in the UK. So if you have a client in London, instead of giving them complex SWIFT details, you can simply provide a GB account number and sort code. For them, it's just a simple domestic payment, and for you, the money arrives faster and without costly receiving fees. This feature is also very valuable for e-commerce businesses. You can connect these local details to gateways like Stripe or Amazon to withdraw your earnings directly into Wise, avoiding the poor exchange rates which are often applied elsewhere. Our local account details in Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, British pounds, euros, and US dollars also support setting up direct debits, as you can see here. Also, as you heard from Hannah earlier, depending on where your business is registered, you might be eligible to earn APY on your US dollars, euros, and British pounds balances that you keep with Wise. If I go back, you can see right here that if you will be eligible or your business will be eligible, there will be an option to earn a return here. Now, talking about getting paid professionally through the invoices. So for direct client work, you can create professional looking invoices or simple payment links right from your account. And this feature comes at no additional cost. So you simply go to the invoices section, as you can see from here. I'm gonna click on new. So here you will have options to choose the currencies in which you want your customer or client to pay. So if I choose British pounds, and then you have the basically option to fill in the details of the customer. So you put in the full name. You can put the email address if you want them to receive the invoice directly to their email address. We also support generating invoices in multiple languages. So other than English, you can generate invoices in other supported languages as well. Going down, you can put in the description of the product or service that you're offering. And here you have multiple payment methods options. So if your client has an account already with Wise, they can just simply pay with Wise, or you can also turn on the card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or just simply the easy bank transfer, domestic transfer. After saving it, you download the invoice and it will look something like this. Now, if you select that you accept card or Apple Pay, a QR code will be generated right here on the final invoice, which will allow your client to pay you instantly. Now, that was generating invoice. You also have the option to simply create a payment link. So if you go here, you see that there's a section of payment links. I'm going to click here, create a new payment link. Here you have, again, option to choose the currencies. So if it's, let's say, Singapore dollars, I'm going to put just a random amount. You can put the description of the product or service. You can limit it to either one amount, or if you want multiple clients or customers to pay you, you can, basically you don't have to take it. You can keep it untake. And again, here you have options in terms of payment method which are supported. And you can choose and just click on save and create the payment link, and it should be done. Finally, as Hannah mentioned about the payment gateways. So we are actively working on a payment gateway solution for website checkout, and we will be sharing with you in the chat. I believe our colleague Kate will share this at some point, and we will also be sending you the waitlist link via the follow-up email after the webinar. You can join the waitlist, and as soon as the payment gateway solution is out there, you will be notified. Let's talk about the other side, which is sending money out. With Wise, you can send payments to over 40 currencies locally. For individual payments, you simply click on send, and you can add a recipient, but since I already have recipients added in my account, I'm just going to choose a random one. Now, a useful feature here is the ability to find out the exact amount your recipient gets. Just fill in the recipient gets box first, and we'll calculate the precise amount you need to send. So if I put 100 euros here, that's the amount which my recipient will be getting exactly, and this is the amount that I need to pay. I can change it to US dollars or any other currencies in which I want to pay. We always use the mid-market rate. As you can see here, it's guaranteed for 24 hours. You can choose the payment method from here, and we will also show you how long will it take for the payment to hit the recipient account. You can also schedule the transfer if you want to a specific date, and you can also set up recurring payments as well. For businesses which are making tens or hundreds of payments at once, our batch transfer tool is essential. If you go here to the batch section, we offer different templates just to give you a quick look how it would look like. So we offer the saved recipients template, there's a bank template, and then there's email template as well. So if you want your recipient to just receive the email, and if you want them to put in the account details, you can use this template. Otherwise, you can use the bank template. The source currency for each template would remain the same, but you can choose multiple target currencies. You can put in the recipient type, either it's a person or a business. And again, here you have an option to either choose the source currency. If you choose the source currency, then that's the amount that you will have to pay. And if you choose the target currency, it means that the recipient will be receiving exactly this amount. Now, just to quickly show you how it will look like once all the details are added in the sheet, you can just simply upload the file in CSV and XLX, and you can add up to 1,000 details of the recipient. And here you can also see if, let's say, there is a mistake, we will also let you know that. So here, zero amount needs to be fixed, and I'm just gonna put like 10, update amount. And that is it. I'm just going to review it, continue, and pay for it. So the batch transfer tool works very handy for businesses who do a lot of payouts. While your recipient don't necessarily need a Wise account to be paid, the tip for your regular suppliers and vendors would be to get a Wise account, because that will make the payments instant and completely free. So as your network joins Wise, your own payment process becomes faster and more cost-effective for everyone involved. For businesses processing thousands of payouts monthly, our API lets you automate both the payout flow and collection of bank details from your recipients over a dynamic form. Since we are talking about payouts, let's launch another poll and ask you another question. So you should be able to see it on your screen already. Does your business process more than 500 payouts a month? It's a simple yes or no question. Does your business process more than 500 payouts a month? Let's give a few more seconds, and then we should be able to see the results of this poll. Okay, so most of the businesses are doing less than 500 payouts. It's still right. You can just simply set up the individual payment. But if you still want, you can use the batch transfer tool if that works well for you, because that will save you some time. Now, let's touch on pricing for businesses that send larger volumes. We have an automatic volume-based discount, so as your monthly conversion volume increases, you become eligible for lower fees. As you can see on the screen here, you send more, you pay less. It's cheaper for us, so we want to make sure that it's cheaper for our clients as well. As Hannah mentioned earlier, for each currency pair, there is a variable fee that we charge. So unlike banks, we don't hide our fees in the markups. We show you separately how much we are charging for the conversion, and we always use a min-market rate. So for USD to euros, the base fee, variable fee, 0.29%, but as you send more, you convert more, you get more discounts. And for businesses which are operating at a larger scale, this becomes even more significant. For those converting more than 2 million USD equivalent per month, between major currencies, your pricing will automatically move to our lowest possible fee tier, which is 0.10%. These are monthly based discounts. So at the start of each month, these discounts will roll back to zero. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one currency pair to be eligible for the discount. You just need to touch the threshold of 25,000 US dollars or equivalent in the other currencies. And you can do it in multiple transactions. But the moment you touch this threshold, you will be eligible for this discount. Now let's talk about managing team expenses, because that's very important also, right? So on my home screen, you can see that there is a main account, but then there are subgroups or groups. So the main account is for everyday operations, but groups functions like dedicated sub-accounts or budget. This is highly effective for managing specific projects. So for example, I can create a group of company trip, and you can assign, you can add some funds to it. You can give a team member a card that only spends from that budget, keeping it separate from your main account. So it's easier for you to track how much did it cost specifically for the company trip, let's say. With Vice Business, you can get a Vice multi-currency card for you and your team. Each team member can have one physical card and up to three virtual cards, but you remain in control with managing the spending limits. Now, to add the team to your Wise account, you just simply go to the team section. You add team member. I'm just gonna put here a test email, but you put in the email address of your team member. And here you have full control over permissions. So three of the most common roles are pay with card. So for employees who only need a Wise multi-currency card for spending, you can give them this role. And for the accountant, viewer permission works really well. And those who have admin access will have access to basically everything. And it comes with an extra layer of security with payment approvals as well. So you can add multiple people in terms of approving the payments. Now, finally, let's talk about managing or streamlining your accounting. So you can sync Wise with multiple accounting softwares. There are different accounting softwares we support, like Xero, QuickBooks, and Free Agent. So you simply go to your profile here, go down, click on the integration and tools. You go to the apps and software, view all apps, and here you can see that there are multiple accounting softwares that we support. This will save you a lot of time, and this automates your bookkeeping as well. So if you're using Xero in the US or QuickBooks worldwide, you can also sync your unpaid bills to Wise and pay them directly from your Wise business account. Now, before I hand back to Hannah for the Q&A, I want to address two last but very critical points. How do we keep your money safe and the support available to you? Even though Hannah talked about it, but I want to touch it again because it's very important. it's a concern of many businesses. So the key difference between Wise and a bank is that we do not lend your money out. Instead, we use a process called safeguarding. This means your money is always kept completely separate from our own, held in a mix of cash deposits in reputable banks and secure government-backed assets. In terms of support, our support is available whenever you need it. We offer 24/7 business customer support in English, and for businesses managing more complex payments, we also provide dedicated assistance for last transfers, so you always have an expert to guide you. That was it from my side. Thank you, everyone, for your time. That was a quick overview of how Wise can help you manage and scale your international business. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys learned something out of this demo today. And I'll hand you back to Hannah to begin the Q&A. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Usman. A great overview of the account and what it could do for you. And I can see that we've got some questions coming in on the Q&A, so keep those coming through. Any questions you have about your specific use case or the capabilities of the account, please do add them into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Before we start on the questions, I just have one more question for you, which is our third and final poll, which is what is the main use case for your business's international payments? So, what are the main reasons you're sending money overseas? So you can see the options on your screen now, and your options are paying suppliers, paying international employees or freelancers, receiving payments from international clients, receiving investment if you're fundraising, managing international expenses, so perhaps with the multi-currency card, managing multiple currency accounts, so if you're doing multiple currency treasury, or if you have operations in multiple countries and you need an account in each of those, or if there's another use case for your international payments, another reason why you're sending money overseas. If you could just tick the options that apply to you, I would be very grateful, and then we will take a look at the results now. Cool. Okay. Lots of varied responses here. So the first is paying suppliers, 14%. The overwhelming majority is paying international freelancers or contractors, employees, which is really interesting. Obviously, Usman mentioned that you can use the batch transfer tool for that. Receiving payments from international clients, that's 43%. That's a very common use case for Wise Business, especially with our local account details and the ability to receive Swift payments in so many different currencies. And I believe there's a question in the Q&A about that as well, so we can learn a bit more about that in a sec. Receiving investment, 21%, very interesting. Congratulations to those of you who are fundraising. But Wise is a really efficient way to receive your investment, particularly if it's large lump sums and it's arriving in different currencies. Obviously, if your investor, if your investor has a Wise account, then you can actually send that money completely for free, no wire fees, no need to pay FX on any of that. And we don't force conversions either. So you can open account details and hold in the currencies that you're receiving your money in, and you can convert at the time that works best for you with favorable rates. And then we have managing international expenses and managing multiple currency accounts. So really interesting. And then 7% said other. So thank you so much for that. Okay, I can see some questions coming in. Please feel free to add them as we work through them. And yeah, if you'd like to find the answer to your questions and test out the accounts for yourself, my colleague Kate is going to share some links to our demo accounts and key web pages in the chat, so you can try it yourself yourself straight away. Right, okay, let's dive into the Q&A. So the first one, can we set up as a Mexican company and receive payment in pesos? I will attempt to answer this, but Usman, you might have to correct me on a few of these things. So at the moment, we don't currently offer the Wise Business account in Mexico. So what you can do is you can send money in Mexican pesos from the US to Mexico, but it's not currently possible to receive pesos. Usman, is that correct?
That is correct. At the moment, unfortunately, we do not support businesses from Mexico, but in the future, I hope that will come.
Watch this space. We're always working on expanding into new countries and new regions as well. So, do you integrate with Zoho Commerce or Zoho Books? Yes. The answer to that is yes. You might have seen on the screen of App Marketplace that Usman pulled up in the demo that we do have integrations with QuickBooks, Xero, Zoho Books, FreshBooks, Oracle NetSuite, so a wide range of accounting software providers, and it's super easy to sync your bank feeds with your Wise Business account. It makes reconciliation more automated, much easier, and you can also help your accountant by processing and reconciling all of your income and revenue and your outgoings in multiple currencies, and you can actually download reports based on currency or based on the account because you can actually open multiple Wise Business accounts within one kind of mega account, and you can toggle between them and you can do reporting separately for each of those accounts. So let's say you've got a multi-entity business and you want an account for each entity. You can set that up from within the app and you can just toggle between them, and your accountant can also go in with our multi-user access and can upload the reports in multiple currencies as well. So it's super easy to sync everything with your accounting software. Can one, as a US citizen, have a Wise checking account in Europe, let's say the Netherlands? Now, my instinct on this one is you can, as long as your business is registered in the Netherlands. So your nationality doesn't matter as much as the country that your business was incorporated or registered in. And we currently do support business accounts in the Netherlands. So Usman, can you confirm that that's correct?
That is correct. Yeah. So if even if you're a US citizen, you can and you have a business which is registered in the Netherlands, you can have a Wise account.
Absolutely. And you could set up your US account details in just a couple of clicks, and you could receive money from your suppliers and clients over in the US very, very quickly. And you can also set up Euro account details so you can start operating like a Euro business as well. Okay. And then the next question is, we are mostly receiving money, not sending from our vendors in other countries. Are there fees both ways? The answer to that question is it depends what kind of payments you're receiving. So if you are receiving in any of 8 currencies that you can set up a local accounting account details in, so that's USD, Canadian dollar, euro, pound sterling, so GBP, Singapore dollar. And there are a couple of other European currencies as well. You do not need to pay to receive money to those account details because it operates like a local account. So it's almost as though you're receiving money like a domestic payment. However, we also offer the ability for you to receive money in 23 currencies if the payments are sent via the Swift network. So you can receive Swift payments in 23 currencies. And for those, there is a small and very competitive charge to receive money via the Swift network. So you would be charged a small amount for those. And then are there fees both ways? Yes, the answer is there is a fee to send, but it is very reasonable, very competitive. As Usman mentioned, it's very clearly signposted when you do go to send money, how much is being charged by Wise and what the mid-market rate is. So we don't fold in any margins into the rate that we use to convert your money. We use the mid-market rate, which is normally the rate at which banks use to trade FX between themselves. So it tends to be the fairest possible FX rate. And then we add a small amount on top, which is the Wise fee. And at the moment, it's 0.53% on average across all of our currency corridors. And as Usman said, if you are sending larger amounts, that fee can come all the way down to 0.10%. And as we have said before, if you are sending to a Wise account or receiving from another Wise user, it's totally free. There are no fees at all. What is your US customer service phone number? So that's an interesting one. If you want to get in touch with us, actually, the best way is to set up an account and then you can contact us via in-app chat, phone, and email address. At the moment, we don't have a publicly available number specifically for the US, but we do have 24/7 customer service available for customers. And in the US, you can actually set up an account for free, so totally free of charge to get started, and you could contact them through there. And just in terms of pricing, it's a free to set up, and then you pay $31 to set up your account details, so to receive money into your account. You can do everything else apart from the receive functions for free, and you can explore the account for free. You can set it up very quickly, but those receive details to start using your account to receive money, that's going to cost you a one-off fee of $31, and there's no monthly subscriptions. So, I've got another question here. I'm a former Zero user, now on QuickBooks. I used to be able to sync my Wise account with Zero, but with QuickBooks, I can only sync if I choose multi-currency, which is not convenient for my company's accounting. I need to sync only the USD account. This worked very well with Zero. I do believe this is actually possible. I think it's probably one for customer service. So if you contact our CS support function, then they should be able to guide you how to do this. My understanding is that you can do same currency accounting with all of our accounting software integrations. Usman, do you know any different?
Yeah, I would assume also that the clients should be able to do it.
Mhm.
And for now, if it's not working for them, there is a workaround, which is, I mean, it's manual work, but they can download the transactions and then they can manually upload it on QuickBooks. But yeah, best to get in touch with the CS so we can have like a look into it.
Absolutely, yeah. So what is the procedure to transfer funds from the Wise account to our local corporate account? Um, it's as simple as just sending money to your own account. You just send to yourself, and you can do that via your Wise account. You would just set up an outgoing payment with Wise, and send it to your local corporate account. I believe also, Usman, we do in certain countries have the ability to auto send money, so through open banking connection. Can you confirm if that's live in the US?
I'm not really sure
Okay.
actually if that's out there or not.
Mm.
But yeah, but if you just wanna send the money out from your Wise account to your corporate account, it's pretty simple as I showed in the demo. Simply click on send, you put in the account details and you choose a payment method as Wise account, very cheap and super fast, and you can just simply send the money out from there.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Usman. Somebody here who is a European citizen and resident, so living in Europe, managing a US LLC as a non-resident. I was told I can not only work with a Wise business account, I was told I would need a traditional US business account. You'd like to only work with Wise as a main business bank account. Good to hear. And just cancel your traditional account. Is it now possible to only have a Wise bank account for my US business now? My understanding, Usman, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you have a US registered LLC, you should be allowed to use your Wise account to do everything for business. I'm not aware of there being a requirement to have a US bank account as well. But Usman, let me know if that's not correct.
No, that's right. You don't necessarily have to have like a traditional bank account because that's where we come in, right? We basically exclude that thing out of the picture. So if you provide us all the documentation in terms of business registration documents and all the other details that is typically required for the business account setup, you should be able to sign up and you should be able to have an account. What I would recommend here in this case is to get in touch with the support team so they can have a look into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as Usman said, that's what we're here to do. We're here to kind of replace outdated legacy banking systems, so that you guys can save a lot of money on international payments. So it's good to hear that you're enjoying using your Wise account. But yes, I don't think there's any requirement that you have another account in the US. Okay, we have Japanese corporate customer who is trying to get verified by Wise, having issues. Can they do business with us from Japan and send payments to our US Wise account? Yes, there shouldn't be any problem with that. With your Japanese customer, corporate customer, we can't comment on individual verification cases just because it's done on a case by case basis. But if they want to send payments to your US Wise account, they can actually do that from their own Japanese account whilst they go through the verification process. And then once they have completed all the checks that we need for them on the Wise side, they should be able to send payments directly to you instantly and with no fees as well. So definitely worth sort of persevering with the verification process and apologies that you're having issues. Often we put in place checks and verification just to ensure the safety of all of our customers' money and also just to make sure that we are complying with all relevant regulations and sanction screening as well. Okay, thanks for the presentation. Can you please answer your following concerns? Can Wise integrate with third-party merchant services, deluxe? So yes is the short answer, and there's a number of third-party platforms that we allow an integration with. So you can withdraw funds directly from Stripe, Amazon, Etsy, Upwork, Fiverr, and a few others. So that means that you can basically use your local account details that are provided in your Wise account, and you can input those as your payment, like your account that you want to be paid into in your Amazon or Stripe merchant account, and then you can withdraw directly from those services into your Wise account. So, and we don't force, as I mentioned, we don't force conversions on anybody. So you can receive in the currency that you've been paid in, and then you can choose to convert or not at the rate that works for you. Can Wise integrate using Open API on the back end with a third party? Usman, that's a question on our API.
So regarding the API, first we have API documentation, and I believe we will be sending that out in the follow-up email as well. In terms of open API with the third party, there are some specifics that we have to look into to see if we can support that or not. And if there's an option, we can let you know. What I would advise here is that if you go to the Vice platform website, there is a form which you can fill. There are some requirements. You can put in the details, and that form will come to us. We can have a look into it and can let you know if that's possible or not. And that's also for the third question you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, third-party merchant services. We have some which are already live, and there are others which you would need to do more of a manual API connection to get up and running with. But as Usman said, we will send out the API documentation in our follow-up. Um, how do your fees compare to PayPal for international fund transfers? So with PayPal, we actually compare very favorably. We run, as you can imagine, competitor analysis quite frequently. With PayPal, they sometimes charge as much as traditional banks for cross-border payments. As I mentioned, international fund transfers our average fee across all of the currency corridors we offer, which is 40 currencies, is 0.53 basis points. That's 0.53%, so 0.5% of the total value of the transaction that you're sending. Obviously, it varies by currency. But when you're sending, like if you're comparing it to, for example, international wire fees offered by banks, you can save considerable amounts using the Wise network. So next question is, our business is registered in both the US and UK. Which Wise feature would you recommend to explore more to be sending funds from UK to US and vice versa? So if you're registered in both, what might be most helpful for you is because you're multi-entity, is to set up a kind of overall account, and then you can set up an entity for either your US or UK business account. And it basically functions as a separate account, but you can toggle between it within the Wise app. And then if you want to send funds like between the two accounts, you can absolutely do that. So we have something called like send to self, which would mean that you can just transfer funds from one of those accounts into the other. And that would enable you to do multi-currency treasury as well. Usman, do you have anything else to add on multi-currency treasury?
No, as I think you explained pretty well that you can have multiple entities with one account. With just one login, you can access both of the entities and you can move funds as per your convenience. I mean, it depends if you want to move from US dollars to the British pounds or you just want to send maybe from US dollars to US dollars in terms of managing the operational cost or something. Because we have use cases where there's an entity based in the UK, but they want to send the funds out in US dollar to pay their vendors or suppliers. So it depends on the use case. But yeah, if you can open both the entities with one login, it's very convenient and easy to just move funds.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Okay, next question. We are a business in the US and we have an independent contractor we need to pay who lives in Canada. We are looking for a way to send payments. Should they set up an invoice to bill us through Wise and we pay them, or can we just use Wise to send the payment? So that's a really good use case for our batch transfer tool. You can send a payment via Wise very easily. So all you'd need to do is set up an account. You wouldn't even need to pay because you can set up the account for free and then you can send using Wise. And your rates on that would be very low because it's USD to CAD. They could invoice you and bill you through Wise. So, for example, if they have a Wise account, they could set up in their account an invoice to bill you through Wise. And if you have an account and they send it to you and you have a Wise account, then you wouldn't be paying any money at all for that transaction. So that money would be converted for you through Wise, and you wouldn't be paying any transaction fees at all. It would just be converted for you from CAD into USD if you both have Wise. However, if you just want to pay them and pay their invoice, you can also do that using your Wise account and save money on the USD to Canadian dollar transaction. Do you offer Zeller? No, no, we don't currently. So yeah, we're not currently on that network. So do you send 1099 year-end statements to US-wide clients for payments received? Yes, the answer to that is yes. So we provide all of our customers for their tax and reporting purposes, all of the statements they need automatically within the account, and you can upload those, I believe, whenever you want to, and edit the time periods so that that can help with your accounting. And we also, with the interest feature that I mentioned, with the pass-through insurance up to 250K, if you switch that on and you start earning APY on your balances in USD, Euro, or GBP, we also issue you with year-end tax statements for that as well, so that you can justify that within your tax return. So, can a customer based in China send funds to our Wise account? We are based in the US. Yes, the answer is yes. It depends which currency that you want to receive the payments in. So they could actually send to you in CNY. And then you could receive in CNY as long as it's a Swift payment. So CNY is one of those 23 currencies I mentioned that you can receive Swift payments in. Obviously, there is a small charge to receive a Swift payment. So you could receive in CNY and hold in CNY, and then if you need to buy, or if you have customers based in CNY that you need to send money to, you could send it directly out, and that could help with your multi-currency cash flow. They could also send to you in global USD. So they could send you USD, and then you would receive to your USD account details if you're based in the US. And there would therefore be no FX for you. It would be paid on the customer side because they would presumably be exchanging or doing the transaction from CNY into USD in order to pay you. So yeah, that is possible. We don't currently support Wise business accounts in mainland China, however, so it wouldn't be the case that they could set up a business account, a Wise business account in China, and then send directly to you via the Wise rails. At the moment, we offer business accounts in Hong Kong and in Singapore, but not in mainland China. However, you can send and receive in CNY. It looks like our use would be very minor. So we're a church that sends funds to a school in Africa on a monthly basis. The amount is generally quite small. We are currently using a third party Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, we have 16 million customers across the world. A lot of them are personal customers, and they send amounts, that can be as small as $1 to countries all around the world. There is no minimum spend limit. There is no minimum send limit, and there is no maximum either. And there is no hold limits either. So there's no sort of minimum hold amount. And you can send as much or as little as you like. And we also offer the ability to send in a number of African currencies. So please do check our wise.com/business to see our currency availability. But we should be able to support you with those send amounts, no problem at all. Is there a video to walk me through setting up the account? Yes, there is. If you go to if you Google Wise Business YouTube, we have a YouTube account, and there is a video dedicated to all the steps you would need to take to set up an account, including all the documentation you would need for verification and onboarding. We also have a blog on how to set up a Wise Business account, and you can just Google search how to set up a Wise Business account, and you should be able to find the answers you need there. In addition, my colleague Kate is going to be adding a link to our FAQs, and those also have a guide to the type of documentation that we would need and all of the information that you'll need to provide. And then we have a small US-based LLC will be residing outside the US. Are you FDIC for small accounts? So the answer to that is no. But yes, if you switch on that interest feature. So as I explained before, you can switch on the interest feature on your balances in USD, Euro, and GBP, so pound sterling, British pounds, and any money that is held in those three kind of accounts or wallets, with the interest feature turned on, is covered by FDIC protection up to 250,000 K across those three balances. So you might hold, let's say, 100K in Euro and 150K in USD. Those would be the protection covers them, but anything beyond that amount wouldn't be covered. And as I mentioned, with that, the money is basically is subject to pass-through insurance via JP Morgan Chase, which is our partner bank or program bank in the US. And that is basically done through a sweep-through process where we sweep the funds into our accounts at JP Morgan Chase. We earn interest, and then we pass that back on to you as APY. And your second question is, how would we best transfer owner's draw to a personal account in Schwab? Usman, do you have any answer to that question? I'm not really sure what an owner's draw is. Apologies.
I do not. I actually am looking into it to see if I can find an answer, but at the moment, I'm sorry, I do not have an answer to this
No
one.
worries at all. I tell you what we'll do. We'll do a bit of research in the background, and we'll move on to the next question and come back to it for you. Is the money that is held in a Wise account insured to a certain amount? I believe I've just answered that question. So, as Usman explained, we are not we don't have an official banking license in the US yet, but and as a result, we safeguard customer funds, which means that all of the funds are held on behalf of our customers in one of our partner banks. These are normally tier one established banking institutions, and therefore the money is not lent out, and it is totally separate from our operational funds. So it's safeguarded, and if anything should happen to Wise, the customers would be the first to receive the proceeds. And then, as I mentioned, if you do want to access up to $250,000 in pass-through FDIC pass-through insurance, all you'd need to do is hold in either USD, Euro, or GBP, and you can switch that on in the app, and then you would be covered for up to $250,000 with essentially our pass-through insurance offering via the interest feature. Okay, sorry, sorry, I just seen please disregard my question. I've answered it again. Is there a minimum to turn on that sweep money? No, there is no minimum. So you can do it from, I believe, $0.01. So it would kick in at $0.01, and that is paid, as I mentioned. So the APY is sort of accrued on a daily basis, and then it's paid out to you on a monthly basis. So yeah, that's how that works. I believe we have reached the end of our questions. Please take the opportunity to add any final questions that you might have for us into the Q&A box. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to move on to say thank you very much, firstly to Usman, for answering all of our questions and for giving us a great tour of the account. As I mentioned, there will be a link to our demo where you can explore the account on your own, and a number of other materials for you and for your team as you make the decision on the best provider for you. And thank you guys for attending, staying with us, asking so many questions. And if you have any that we haven't covered, please wait for the docs that will be arriving via email with you and some of the links that Kate has shared. We will also be sending a recording of this session, and we hope you found it helpful. And yeah, we hope to welcome you to the growing number of Wise Business customers in the US very soon. For further information, don't forget to visit wise.com/business. And thanks so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you on a future Wise Business webinar. See you soon and have a great afternoon. Thanks, guys.